Hello, and thank you for joining me during this overview of the IBH VWAP h.VWAP3 study that's included in the IBH VWAP product for TradeStation. I think you'll find that this is the most functional VWAP study available on the trading app store. I'll be using the phrase study as that is the terminology used in TradeStation 10. For those of you still on 9.5, when you hear study, think of indicator. h.VWAP3 is an enhanced draw lines on your price chart type of solution. There are 13 different options for the VWAP reset. You can reset on an intraday session, on daily at a specific time, weekly, monthly, yearly. In addition, it could do it for 2 intraday sessions, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. There's a rolling or a moving VWAP, a maximum permissible deviation VWAP, and an anchored VWAP. There's 3 different types of deviation band formulas that you can choose. There's up to 2 static and 1 dynamic deviation band that can be displayed. You have a choice of 4 different alert conditions. The VWAP trend is color-coded. You can display the naked or untested VWAP. There's a programmatic interface to export the VWAP to strategies. And since this product has been downloaded from the trading app store, the architecture of the TradeStation app makes it so that you don't have the default button on the settings tab. Instead, to save the configuration, you would either choose Save Study Group for TradeStation 10 or Save Analysis Group for TradeStation 9.5. As I said, the indicator provides a choice of 3 different deviation band formulas. The most common deviation, standard deviation, is based on price, all prices in the session, versus VWAP, so it's the sum of squares difference of price and VWAP. Additionally, there is a less common deviation formula, which is a sum of squares difference of VWAP in the past session with the current VWAP. And finally, you can choose to make the deviation bands be merely a number of points away from VWAP. Let's take a look at the output of the indicator. Here you see VWAP applied to a chart analysis, white bars. In the center of the chart basically is the VWAP, red and green. Green indicates an upward moving slope, red a downward moving slope. Around that VWAP you have band 1 up and band 1 down, and band 2 up and band 2 down, dynamic upper band and dynamic lower band. Those are all controlled whether you want to display them or not, what type of formula, how the deviations work, and we'll talk about the dynamic lower in future slide, but that is a generated band based on the historical performance of the product over time. In addition, the naked or untested VWAP is displayed, and that is simply the VWAP of previous sessions where price has not yet tested. Let's take a look at the default inputs. I also want to make sure you understand that all of these inputs are defined in the user documentation that's on the website. The first set of inputs define for the indicator when VWAP should be reset, either on an intraday session, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, or anchored, and the list gets longer. If it's daily, specify the time. If you want to anchor, specify the day. VWAP is a calculation based on price and volume. By setting round output to true, you will see VWAP displayed at the closest tradable price. If it's false, which is the default, it is displayed as the calculation generates. As we talked about previously, there's 3 different types of bands that can be calculated around VWAP, either based on points, a common standard deviation, or the uncommon standard deviation. Band 1 and 2, when you set 0, doesn't show the bands. When you set a number, it's either specifying the number of points or standard deviations above and below VWAP. You can control whether the indicator alerts when price tests VWAP, or when price tests band 2, or when price tests the dynamic upper or the dynamic lower. All of those alerts will occur after the first alertable candle. The dynamic bands are based on a calculation the indicator does based on the 10 previous sessions. It looks at the maximum deviation up, the maximum deviation down, and generates a hypothesis for the day of what it might be. These next specify the look and feel of the VWAP, followed by the look and feel of the naked or untested VWAP. Channel is the mechanism you use for the programmatic interface. And I have tried very diligently to set these settings so that it's perfect for most day traders, that you just insert the indicator and you're ready to go. For those of you who want to use the alert functionality, let's take a quick look at how you do that. First, on the General tab, turn on the Update Value Intrabar or Tick by Tick. After the General tab, then you'd go into the Inputs tab. You would select the first alertable candle, number that makes sense for you. As I said, I use 12 because I typically put this on a 5-minute chart, and I find alerts during the first hour of trading don't help me whatsoever to trade. Next is to specify where you want band 2. I typically use the common standard deviation with 2 standard deviations. I would set alert band 2 to true. Dynamic upper and lower we will talk about in the next video. And then finally you would go to the Alerts tab. Enable alerts. I typically put the alert for once per bar, clear the trigger on bar close. Now let's take a look at the way I typically configure the product. First, I don't turn on intra-bar update. I have that off. The reason I have that off is I don't use h.VWAP3 for alerting. I'll put it on a 3 and or 5-minute chart, sometimes a tick chart. Now, because I'm not doing any alerting, the first alertable candle is irrelevant for me. Primary usage of this is on my chart analysis. I want to see where VWAP and the naked VWAP are. In addition, sometimes I will insert a horizontal line at previous naked VWAPs and put an alert on that. I typically lean on the h.VWAP3 delta for my alerting and excursion analysis. The intent of this was to give you a brief overview of the h.VWAP3 product. What I'd suggest next is to take a look at the h.VWAP3.delta overview. There's also a video where I walk through the VWAP sample workspace. I would recommend you download and review the documentation and then open and investigate the sample workspace. I want to thank you for subscribing. If you find value in this product, please consider writing a review at this website. Scroll down to the Write a Review button. Thank you.